Can we not move this now? Okay. Move. Okay. Let's go outside. I wanted to show this to you guys. See if we can make it bigger. Well, that's too big. Okay. This is the earthquake live stream, guys. This is the world map earthquake. So it's, I don't think I can make it any bigger. Try. There we go. But, look at all of these earthquakes, guys. All over the world. In various places, just like Yeshua said. Anyway, hold on. Okay, now this is volcanoes that are worldwide live stream. Guys, if you don't think that we are in tribulation, let's look at some things that are going on around the world. Give me a second. Take a look at this. Europe is underwater. Storms in Germany, Italy. People are hiding in tunnels. All right, let's look some more. Hold on. Let's look at this one. 10 hours ago. Argentina. All right, guys. Let's look at one more. Hold on. This is 3 days ago. Italy, Sicily. Okay, we'll look at these last two. This is obviously the fires. The longest 4 seconds of your life. That's some hot fire there, guys. All right, that's your world news update, guys. Last one here. All right, guys. Take care. Good morning, everybody. I hope everybody's having a good day. So, I don't know if you guys have seen the news about labs going on. So I'm going to share this with you guys. Here you go. Take a listen.
I've been in government 25 years. I've never seen anything like this.
First at 11, this one is tough to believe. An investigation tonight into a possible illegal medical lab. It was operating at an abandoned warehouse in Reedley. Inside, mice bioengineered to incubate the COVID-19 virus. The lab was discovered near I and 9th Streets. 30 refrigerators and freezers, some broken, were found filled with bodily fluids. Health officials tell us they are shocked. The biological house of horror. CBS 47's Juanita Adame live in studio with the shocking details tonight.
Well, Brian, this story is so complicated. There are local, state, and federal agencies all involved. Now, what prompted this investigation was a simple garden hose that was illegally attached and coming out of the back of a building. It was back in April, inside this abandoned warehouse in Reedley, that a discovery so shocking was made that it left local health officials stunned. This is a truly unusual situation. I've been in government 25 years. I've never seen anything like this.
I've never seen this in my 26-year career with the county of Fresno.
What was supposed to be an empty building used only for storage was home to an unauthorized lab testing facility, something no one had even conceived of.
We reach out to our local public health directors throughout the state, California, and nobody has really expressed this type of interaction with a unlicensed lab. So it is something new.
The discovery was made after a local code enforcement officer noticed this garden hose poking out a back wall of the building.
Okay, I just have to say, the garden hose. I think they had a tip. Obviously, they didn't. This is just my opinion. They had to have been tipped off just because this garden hose was hanging out. I don't know. I guess maybe it is kind of an odd place, but yeah, it is in an odd place. But anyway, I don't know. If I was driving around, maybe I would notice that. I don't know, guys. Anyway.
Frankly, we knew that shouldn't be there, and when she went to go investigate, she found that there was activity or operation or something happening within that building. The city then obtained several search warrants to enter the building. Once inside, no staff was located, but there was a special room that was built housing about 1,000 mice, 1,000 white lab mice. And the reason the mice were in the lab was jaw-dropping.
Through their statements, that they were doing some testing on laboratory mice there that would help them support developing the COVID test kits that they had on site.
Documents show the lab was also being used to produce pregnancy tests. 200 of the nearly 1,000 mice were already dead. According to court documents, all the rodents were being caged in, quote, inhumane conditions. Also found thousands of vials, many of which contained biohazards, materials including human blood, unidentified tissue, and other unknown substances.
A lot of these are being classified under unknown chemicals. Labels had been removed from bottles, so there was only certain testing we could do to those chemicals.
According to court documents, experts determined that at least 20 potentially infectious, viral, bacterial, and parasitic agents were being stored inadequately, including E. coli, malaria, and even COVID.
Let's back it up a second and take a look. Chlamydia. I can't see very good, guys. Hepatitis B, hepatitis C. Man. I mean, things I just can't even pronounce. So, I don't know, guys. Put a comment. What do you think? I'm gonna hold on a second, okay? Now we're gonna pause here because we know that this has happened But let's see what the speaker says about it. So hold on, give me a second. Let me find it. Okay, so
So you think you know Wix? Do you really?
sorry, gotta watch
First
videos.
up, we've got shape video masks. You can use different shapes to create.
Okay, this is Speaker McCarthy, guys. I don't know if you guys can hear him.
This is very disturbing. I met with a number of leaders here from county to city and others about this. What could be real concerning is what was going on in that lab, what was not being reported in that lab. The funding of that lab is, I know the FBI is involved now as well. One of the first things I did becoming speaker was to create a select committee on China. I want to make sure it's bipartisan. I think one of the biggest things we have failed at through the years is we have not spoken with one voice. When you look at what's going on in our own soil, what's going on in our own background, here is a lab that is studying, doing things that they did not have the jurisdiction or policy to. But if it wasn't for code enforcement or fire, we would have never known about it. They were selling test kits that weren't right. They were doing research that wasn't allowed. My concern is to get to the bottom of what happened here, but also look at where is this happening in other parts of this country as well. But I'm going to take this.
Exactly. That's my thought. Where are the other labs? We know that's not the only one. In Georgia last month, there was a E. coli breakout at the Chattahoochee River. That's where I live in Georgia. So we know, I mean, that was in California, I think. So, guys, the world we're living in isn't going to get any better. Remember, there's going to be plagues. Um, I mean, whether Yeshua brings those plagues on or whether he allows it, he predicted it before his second coming. So anyway, wars, rumors of wars, earthquakes in diverse places. So anyway, guys, I just wanted to show this to you. I wasn't sure if you guys were seeing this actually on in your cities and in your towns. So anyway, guys, we need to pray. I love you. God loves you. Talk to you soon. See it on the screen, and everybody else knows that we're. Can you say that? Let me make it bigger.
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay.
If you be led of the Spirit, you are not under the law. And if you go back to Romans chapter 8, it explains to you that we have the Spirit of Christ, and because we have the Spirit of Christ, we're not under the law. But the law was all of the 613 commandments or rules that were made for the Jewish people to live by. We're not under that. If you want to live by them, that's perfectly fine. But it has nothing to do with your salvation. What it has to do with is putting your mind and your focus on Yeshua, and that's what's important. So now the works of the flesh are manifest, which are these: adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lasciviousness, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, variance, emulations, wrath, strife, seditions, and heresy. These are the things as you were. This is how you were before you met Yeshua. You were a sinner, but now you're saved by grace through faith. And now that you are saved by faith, he will instill the desire in you to follow, to learn more and more about it. That's what when I first came to Baton Rouge, I told my second wife that I didn't believe in the Old Testament. I want nothing to do with the Old Testament. I only went to New Testament because that's what I'd heard all my life from the time I was saved in 1973 up until I came to Baton Rouge in the 90s. I had heard that you don't need the Old Testament. The Old Testament is passe. It's old. It's over there. It no longer applies to us. But now I can tell you that without the Old Testament, the New Testament is meaningless.
Yeah.
We need both. We need both. So,
Amen.
Yeah, that's my story. I'm sticking to it.
Very good. Very good. So really quick, let's see. We're going to stop sharing that. And let me see. I'll pull up this song and give it a listen and see if it lets the Spirit move us a little bit for more conversation. If not, if this brings up more stuff after about 3 minutes of listening to it, we'll continue. If not, we'll call it a night. But it's always, for some reason, this song always just brings out the I don't know, the desire to just be like in His presence.
Right.
I mean, this song, I'll be honest with you, Robert, this song is, I usually don't listen to it with anybody. It's just something that I normally, so if you got, this is one thing, I guess you guys are going to know me and Robert a little bit better, because this song is the, I fall on my face to it. And I mean, I will just lay in the floor and bawl. And then I wake up not wake up. Well, I guess you could say wake up, I guess, because I'm crying in the Spirit.
Right.
And my spirit is. So, anyway.
I cry too. In fact, I cry more now than I ever did.
Yeah. Well, I think that's Spirit, it's just His Spirit that just, okay, well, let's see. Let's hope it'll play. Got it ready for us. Share. Let's see. Let's see what it looks like real quick. Okay. So, all right, guys.
Take me past the outer court and through the holy place, and past the raised altar. Lord, I long to see your face. Pass me by the crowds of people and the priests sing their praise. But I hunger and thirst for your righteousness, and it's only found one place. Take me into the holy of holies, and take me in by the blood of the Lamb, and take me into the holy of holies, and take the coal, cleanse my lips. Here I am. Here I am. Bring me in the inner court and past the golden light and through the incense altar.
I like this is my favorite part.
So take me into the holy of holies and take me in by the blood of the Lamb. Take me into the holy of holies and take the coal, cleanse my lips. Here I am.
I love
And
this.
take the coal, cleanse my lips. Here I am. I really want to know you again. I really want to see you again. As in the days of Moses, pass over me with your spirit. As in the days of Moses, hide me in the cleft of the rock. But do not keep your spirit from me. I want to see you face to face. For I was made to gaze upon the beauty of the Lord. So I come on into where you are. I lift up my gaze to the heavens, and everything else seems to fade away. So take me into the holy of holies and take me in by the blood of the Lamb and take me into the holy of holies and take the cold, cleanse my lips. Here I am.
No,
I just wanna
it's
see
so beautiful.
you. I just wanna know
Just-
you.
Okay,
I just
I'm gonna go
wanna
ahead.
know
You guys,
you.
let me show you who it is. This is they have Cutlass does this too, guys. I'm gonna mute it. But Cutlass does this too. But this is 10 minutes long. It is really one of the best worship songs, in my opinion. I promise you, if you get in by yourself putting this on, you are going to. There's no way you can't like not get into the spirit. This is my opinion. But so, did that bring up anything else for you?
Um, so many things are going through my head as the music was playing. Um, I just want to say that when you first get saved and you're still learning, you don't really realize, especially if you don't know the Old Testament, you don't really realize what God has gone through because he loves us.
Oh yeah.
There is a thing in the Bible called the divine council, and that's made up of spirit beings who a lot of them did not like the idea that God created a human family and gave us dominion over the works of his hands. And they wanted to make us fall so that God would destroy us
Hmm.
because God's, for the wages of sin is death. So if they could lead us astray, then they believed that God would destroy us. And we were, even though Adam and Eve were not part of the divine council per se, but they were actually members of the divine council because they were children of God. They were sons of God. They were B'nai Elohim. And because of that, they were members. But when the fiery serpent, convinced them to disobey God and put their lot with him, they figured God would kill them. What God did was he evicted them from the garden of God and placed a being there so they could not re-enter. And then God did something that completely blew their minds. He went with us into the wilderness. And he had a plan from the very beginning, before he ever recreated the earth, ever put Adam and Eve on the earth. He knew we were going to fall. And yet he had a plan that when we did, he was going to himself come and die in our place, because the wages of sin is death. Somebody has to die. Without the shedding of blood, there can be no remission of sins. So God said, who better than me? He's perfect. He knows no sin. So he became sin for us. He died on the cross. He died on the tree. And everything and whatever hangs on the tree is cursed. Okay, in Deuteronomy. So we don't realize how much he loves us. Because if we did, what we do in the everyday world, we would do with thanks to him, because he made it possible. He made it. We can breathe, and we can dream, and we can work. We have to earn by the sweat of our brow, but he loves us, and he made a way for us. That's why if you're not saved, if you don't know Jesus Christ, this is the time for you to open up with him, ask him to forgive you, and to come into your life and save you, because he will. He will never turn you away. And yet there are people who, people have so many things going on in the world today. They don't really think about him. They don't think about or think what they should do with him. The idea of making him Lord of their life is alien to them, strange to them. So they wonder about it. And if they'll go to church and, that's good enough. As my stepfather once told me, there's a time and place for everything. Because when I would try to talk to him about the Lord, he said, there's a time and place for everything. This isn't the time and place for that, for God. That's on Sunday when he goes to church. But ultimately he got saved, because the Lord knows who was going to get saved from the very beginning of time. He knew who was going to, because he's living in our future. So he knows. So all the rest of it is, I don't know what you would call it. The basic gospel is he died in our place, and we would want to live for him. And he sent us the comforter, the Parakletos, to empower us to live the Christian life. So you can't have one without the other. That's basically all I can say on that subject. But that's what was going through my mind when people don't realize that the Holy of Holies is where God was, and when he died on the cross, when Yeshua died on the cross, God himself tore the veil in front of the Holy of Holies in two, and exposed the Holy of Holies to the sight of men. And that freaked everybody out, because God's saying his sacrifice I